Hi, I'm Andrew,
Hey, I'm Colin.
and this is our college football podcast. Just one quick thing. Basically, all of our viewers leave after the first 30 seconds, and my mom tells me that we actually make really good videos. So I'll let you be the judge.
Alrighty, so that was an eventful week. I think that was the week everyone's been looking forward to, and it did not disappoint. Alright.
No, lot of fun games. A lot of fun games that I missed. Super disappointed that I missed some, but I saw Bama, South Carolina, and SISC. But yeah.
Here's the first one I want to talk about was a Friday one. We'll go over it quick. Utah, Arizona State. I feel like Cam Scadaboo was a difference maker. I think he popped off a couple big runs and kind of won Arizona State the game. So I mean that kind of really hurts Utah's college football playoff hopes as they're 4-2, 1-2 in Big 12 play.
I want to talk about Bama, South Carolina, as I did see it. Really fun SEC, kind of rivalry matchup. I mean, every game in the SEC is like super competitive. Really close. South Carolina had the lead like towards like the very end, and Bama made like a great pass. Great Dylan Gabriel, or not Dylan Gabriel. What's his name?
Jalen Milroe.
Jalen Milroe, yeah, sorry. Beautiful pass to get a touchdown to take like the lead near the end. Onside kick like was recovered, but it wasn't enough to seal the deal for South Carolina. It's a super fun game though.
All right, so let's talk about Texas, Oklahoma, the Red River rivalry. So I thought Oklahoma had a shot. I saw them go down the field, get a field goal. But after that, Texas kind of just shut them up. I'll be honest. Oklahoma's been overrated. Texas is the number one team in the country for a reason. And, it showed. Great win for Texas, 34-3.
Yep. I'll take Ohio State, Oregon. So another like Dan Lanning special. NIL money's really coming through from Phil Knight to Oregon. So good for them. Great. Like the thing is, like allegedly he put 12 men on the field on purpose to like run the clock out. We don't know for sure. Could be. Lanning's known for his like schemes and aggressive tactics, like going for two after like every touchdown. So I mean, it could be possible. Anyways, great performance from Dylan Gabriel, 341 yards, 2 touchdowns against kind of unproven, but overall like very strong Ohio State. Huge win for Oregon. Everyone stormed the field afterwards, and this will really boost their chances of getting into the playoff. If they like don't mess up the rest of the season, then it's basically automatic they get like a really good seed.
All right, so before we talk about the USC game, which I know everyone's here for, let's talk about Kansas State, Colorado. So this game was a pretty big game for Coach Prime. This was kind of his prove-it game, as we would say. Kansas State had the lead, kind of throughout most of the game. I mean, they kind of traded, but not really. It was mostly Kansas State was in control. Colorado had a good fourth quarter. I think Shedeur Sanders played an amazing game. The Colorado O-line had to step it up a bit. I think that was the difference. Kansas State won in the trenches, and that's why they won.
Yep. All right. I think we can both take this SC Penn State, and we'll address SC later. So again, another great game until overtime. Our first half looked strong. This is key for SC. I think the Penn State was like right on like the goal line, and we held them to 3, and then we came back and scored a touchdown. Great momentum swing. Very strong first half. Cut down on the turnovers, but Miller Moss's accuracy was like really definitely like a weak point for the team. Yeah. What else? What do you want to say about it?
Yeah, no, I think Miller Moss. There's a couple throws he had where if he maybe put it a foot to the left, a foot to the right, maybe up or down, and they would have been great completions. I feel like our receivers had to do a little bit better catching the ball, but I don't think the connection was completely there. I feel like 2 or 3 completions and we've won that game. The situation when it was 4th and 10, and we couldn't stop them twice. They got the 4th and 10, and they got, I don't know, like a 12-yard little pass. The main issue was probably Tyler Warren for Penn State, 44.
Oh yeah.
224 yards, 17 receptions. He threw a pass. He got a run. I mean, it's
Yeah.
really hard when you have a guy going for 224 yards.
Right, over half of Aller's completions went to Warren, and we couldn't cover him, which was just really infuriating.
Yeah, we ran the ball well. I feel like passing was our struggle. Penn State traveled really well. You know, I was at the game. A lot of white there, so it's tough. I mean, what do you expect? Number three team in the country. We lost in overtime. They can't really ask too much more.
Right. All right, I think moving on to the next segment, one quick thing. I want to prove to my mom that we do not need to go into a professional studio in order to gain a following on YouTube. And for like the few people who aren't our parents who are still watching, please like and subscribe and like comment something down below, and don't dislike, because like on one of our other videos we got like 2 dislikes, and that was like really weird. Like I don't know, I wasn't like super thrilled at that. So make sure you don't dislike the video. Please like it. That'd be really cool. Thanks.
All right. So let's talk about our college football playoff.
Yep.
So, you know, we haven't talked about this in a while. I think it's about the halfway point of the season, or at least the regular season. So let's pick our college football playoff predictions. So I'll go with my one, then you go with your one.
All right. My one has to be Texas.
Yeah, I can't
Can't
argue against that. That's
No.
for me too. Obviously, Texas. They look dominant. They killed Oklahoma. I know Oklahoma isn't that great, but you know it's a rivalry game. They, you know, dominated that game. So yeah, Texas is definitely the best team in the country.
My number 2, I have Oregon out of the Big Ten. I mean, it would be between them and Ohio State. Penn State will probably be the team who they play on the conference championship, and like we know what'll happen. It won't be fun for Penn State. So
Yeah.
I'll say that.
My number 2 would have to be Oregon, just because you know they're undefeated. Penn State didn't look that great. Ohio State lost to them. I think it's gonna be hard for any team not Oregon to be number 2 seed.
Yep. I think my number 3 seed, I'm gonna have to go with Clemson. I mean, they do have a loss, but it's not a conference loss. So they're obviously gonna make it into the. They're practically an SEC team. They're obviously gonna make it into the ACC championship. And I guess it would be between them and Miami. Like Cam Ward's really good, but they're super untested, and they almost lost to Florida. Could be Pittsburgh, and I guess that would be like the other opponent who they could face, and they'll destroy either.
You know, I like Miami at the 3. I feel like what Cam Ward's done. You know, great pass. He can run the ball too. I feel like Cam Ward is one of the best quarterbacks in college football. I think that's gonna elevate Miami's playing to like number 3 team in the country, at least number 3 seed in the college football playoffs.
For my number 4, I have Iowa State. BYU's up there, but I mean they haven't had a super. I mean they are undefeated. They haven't had a super hard schedule, and then I guess you'd have Texas Tech or Arizona State. So Iowa State.
Here, I'm going with a really crazy out of the box. My number 4 seed, Boise State. It's possible. It's the top 4 conference champions. If Boise State keeps on playing, if they're 11-1 or 12-1 conference champions, and maybe Iowa State drops a game, they are gonna be the number 4 seed, because they're gonna be conference champion, and I think they're gonna be better than the Big 12 conference champion. So I think Boise State will be my number 4 seed.
I actually think that's like a really, really creative pick. I would love that if that happened. I think it's also entirely possible that Boise State doesn't get the 12 and they get like the 11 or 10 based on like how things are going and teams that drop, especially like a win against UNLV and then a conference championship win for sure. All right. You want to talk about SC now? Or do you want to keep going with this?
I think we should go keep going like at least to 10.
All right, to 10. All right. Let me pull up like the.
All right, I'll go.
Okay, yeah, you go.
So my number 5 team, I'm gonna have to go with Ohio State. They look good. They barely lost to Oregon. Big Ten is the best conference in college football. Yeah, I firmly believe that. So I think we're gonna go number 5. To me, is Ohio State.
My number 5, might come out as a surprise. I actually have Bama here. I think like the loss against Vandy. I know it's usually a gimme, usually an automatic win. Um, I think it was a fluke. Really, I think like maybe Bama's defense isn't like as strong as like it should be. But I mean, in all the other games that they've played, they've looked stellar. I mean, they destroyed Wisconsin, and Wisconsin's pretty good. So I actually have Bama here, like as a shock to many in my number 5.
All right. So my number 6 is gonna be most likely. I think it's gonna be Georgia. Yes, Georgia lost to Alabama. They're dominant. Georgia is Georgia. I think they're gonna go 10-2. I think they drop one to Texas, but I think I have Georgia as my number 6 seed.
Yeah, I also have Georgia as my number 6. I'm gonna put them just below Alabama because they lost to Alabama. Probably 10-2 with a loss against Texas. Agreed.
7. I mean, probably Penn State. I feel like they're gonna drop a game. You know, the USC game was kind of rough, and they'll drop one to Ohio State. Go 11-1. I feel like I have them right there at like 7. I think that's a fair assessment.
Right. My list is getting pretty SEC heavy, so I'm gonna put Ohio State at my 7. Probably like a lot lower than people expect, but I mean I think it'll be pretty close against Penn State, and if they don't win the conference championship, which they probably won't, because Oregon probably will, that'll probably knock them lower.
All right. So my 8 is gonna be Kansas State, the Big 12 champion. I know everyone's saying Iowa State, Iowa State. Who have they beat? They beat North Dakota by 18 points. They beat Iowa by 1. Barely squeaked it out against West Virginia. Is this really a college football playoff top 4 team that, can't score more than 21 points against North Dakota? I mean, no, I don't think so. Their defense looks good, I'll be honest.
Right,
I
that'd
feel
be
like
the highlight of their team.
They don't play a single good team until their last 2 weeks of the season. I think they're gonna get in just because they don't play anyone good enough. So they will be 11-1, but I don't think they're that good of a team.
Yep.
So I feel like Kansas State is gonna beat them. Gonna probably beat them in the conference championship. Kansas State's a little bit more proven, so that's who I'm gonna have as my number 8 seed.
As my 8 seed, I have LSU. After winning against Ole Miss, they're extremely good. Of course, they lost to SC because SC is like the best. But no, LSU's great. Nussmeier's great. Even after like the loss of a Heisman Trophy winner, I think they bounced back really well. And I think like the AP poll came out. Where are they at?
Ohio State.
LSU.
Oh, LSU's 8.
8, yeah, that sounds about right. I'd definitely put them clear in like the top 10. I think they're super good, so I'll probably put them at my 8.
All right, so for my number 9, I think it's probably the last one we're gonna do because of time constraints. I like Indiana, undefeated. Indiana Hoosiers, they're beating teams. Everything looks great. They're running all cylinders. I say Indiana. Their schedule ahead looks pretty easy. Besides Ohio State, I feel like they pull one off against Michigan. They go 11-1. I like the Hoosiers.
Yeah, for my 9, I think a pretty big name I've left out thus far is Penn State. I think that's where they're gonna fit in pretty nicely. Not good, not great. We should have beat them. They should be 9 right now, but they're not. So I'll put them there.
All right. So now let's just go to our games of next week. Right? Our next week preview.
Preview, yep.
So next week's a big week. It's not as great as last week. Last week was amazing. But I think it's one of the best weeks in college football. Let's talk about a lesser game that I feel like a lot of people are still going to tune in and watch. And I feel like Louisville, Miami, in my opinion, if you're tuning in at 9 a.m., that's the game you want to watch. Louisville, they were kind of hyped in the season. They lost to SMU and Notre Dame in the close games. but they looked pretty good, and I feel like they're gonna give Miami another one of their tests, which they have looked shaky against a lot of teams. Do you think this is where Miami falls?
I think it's entirely possible. It'll be extremely close for sure. Louisville was once ranked, but after 2 losses, they're not. However, they're still a very solid team, and this will be like definitely one of the strongest tests that Miami's had thus far.
All right.
I want to talk about Alabama, Tennessee. I don't think we really. I mean, Tennessee definitely dropped. I think they dropped from like 8-11 after like a close scare against Florida. With one loss already and in one of their strong wins being against Oklahoma, and we now really know how bad Oklahoma is. I think like this is at Tennessee, and Tennessee has had some history in the past, beating Alabama and tearing down the goalpost and taking it off campus. But I think Alabama's gonna clear Tennessee, especially since this would be a huge win for them because they lost to Vanderbilt.
All right. So I feel like the next game that would be on the schedule, if you're a Big Ten fan like me, you'd be watching Michigan, Illinois. So Michigan looks shaky. They haven't been that great. I think the big boys up front are just gonna be able to pound the rock. I think Michigan beats Illinois 2 touchdowns. I think 31-17. I think that's what I predict. So we'll see. But I think that's going to be a good game.
Yeah, we're kind of running low on time, and we might have to cut my game prediction out like right now because of that. But I do want to just touch on LSU Arkansas for a sec, because I can't get enough of the SEC. I think like LSU. I mean, I had them ranked very highly, so in theory they should win this game. But you never know with Arkansas. They're 4-2 this year, and it's going to be at Arkansas, so and that'll be another really tough game for him.
All right, we got 2 games left. Before USC, which is the main focus of the show, Georgia, Texas. Let's do a quick rundown. 5-1. Georgia, Texas. Game of the week. Who do you got?
I have Texas.
I do too. I feel like Georgia looks shaky against Alabama. Looked shaky last week against Mississippi State. Texas, best team in the country. Don't like them. Texas is gonna win. Finally, USC, Maryland. All right, if USC doesn't win this, Lincoln Riley should be fired.
Yep.
We're not going 3-4.
Right.
All right. Yeah. No. USC has to win. Must win game. Should win game. Yeah. That's all I have to say.
For sure. Not a whole lot to say there. Maryland, lost against UNC, lost against a lot of their own 3 in conference, so it has to be a win here.
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.